video, we're going to be covering our wide stance thoracic cars. So for this, I have a med ball that I'm going to be using to help create some feedback and tension. You can do this without the med ball as well. We can squeeze a pillow, or we can even just have our shoulders wrapped around, our hands wrapped around our shoulders as well in order to perform this movement. So we're going to adopt a bit of a wider base and wider stance. It's going to make it easier for us to separate our upper body from that lower body, because the goal of this movement is to focus on just articulating the thoracic spine, not focusing too much on the lumbar and the lower back, and we also don't want to shift the hips, rotate them or shift them side to side or forward and back. Once we establish that stance, we're going to grab our ball, wrap the arms around it, not too high up on the chest and not too low, and we're just going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose, exhale, generate tension, contract, and squeeze. I'm going to fire up the glutes, lock the knees, and just even keep that core slightly engaged throughout. Then we're going to start first with the spinal flexion. So I'm going to think about just trying to roll that ball down along the front of the torso, actively flexing the spine as far as I can without the hips shooting back. You may even feel your abs working here. Think about the six-pack muscle contracting, and we may feel a little bit of crampiness as well when we hit that end range. Then we're going to rotate. We're going to start with either direction. In this case, I'm going to rotate and twist my torso, my rib cage, my shoulders over to the right. What we often see here is people just sway their body over, really focus on rotating the rib cage and the torso until we hit that end range position. Then we're going to start to side bend the spine, thinking about bringing that shoulder actively down towards that heel. Then we extend the spine, thinking about lifting the spine up and away from the hips. And then we're going to slowly start to rotate and twist the body over to the opposite side. Side bend in that direction, the shoulder coming down to that heel. We're then going to forward flex and then twist and rotate back towards the center. From here, we can either go into the opposite direction or just continue in the direction that we're working on. From the side view, you'll also see really trying to focus on not letting the hips move. So we go through that nice active flexion of the spine, making sure that we're not just pushing the hips back and leaning forward. And as I rotate, I'm really focusing on just turning that rib cage, side bending, lengthening one side as we compress, extend, twist, side bend, forward bend, and then twist back to the center. A couple things we want to make sure that we don't do: overextend, getting into that low back, pushing the hips forward, swaying to the side instead of twisting, and also not over flexing to the point where, again, we're just leaning and pushing the butt back. So that is our wide stance med ball or wide stance thoracic cars.